Okay, guys, Victor Isibo here. The past 2 days, the past 72 hours have been very tough in the crypto space. You know, the ricochet effect of Donald Trump's tariff increment on Chinese goods. I think 100% tariffs to be charged on Chinese products. It had a ripple effect on the crypto market. And you saw the price of Bitcoin nosediving and other altcoins following. The entire market was in a red. Okay. Crypto influencer Konstantin, according to reports, he was found deceased in his Lamborghini. It is believed that his passing may have been linked to severe financial losses. Okay, so obviously, since what happened was a dump in the market, obviously he was doing what? He was longing BTC, Bitcoin, predicting that the price would go up. All right. So what happened in the market was a nosedive, the opposite of the direction that he predicted. That was how come he lost. Now, the reason for making this video is a lot of people have come to say, they said he's a crypto bro. He knows his onions with crypto. Why did he not have a stop loss in place? If he had a stop loss, how come he was liquidated? How come he lost all the money in that trade? And that's why we're making this video, so that you can understand certain things about the crypto market. Now, I want to tell you that even with a stop loss in place on a trade, you can still get liquidated. Oh yes, I said so. You can still get liquidated even if you have a stop loss in place. I know some of you have not heard this, but you're hearing it for the very first time. Now, what is the phenomenon that is capable of making you get liquidated even if you have a stop loss in place? And it is a phenomenon called slippage. Slippage is the difference between the expected price of a trade and the actual price the trade gets executed. It is the difference. If you say sell at $10, or you say sell or buy at $10, sell or buy at $10, if eventually you got to buy at $15, the slippage there is $5 slippage. If it's also a sell for $10, you eventually sold at $15, the slippage is the $5 difference. So it is the difference between the expected price you intend for a coin to be sold or bought and the actual price at which they were bought or that trade was executed. That is slippage. All right. Now, what is responsible for slippage? There are two factors responsible for slippage. You will understand how you can get liquidated even if you have a stop loss on a trade. Number one condition that causes slippage is high volatility. High volatility. Number two is low liquidity. Now, let's first of all talk about how high volatility can cause slippage. All right. Now, I'll give you a very relatable instance. Let's say this is a sea. Okay. And this is a canoe or a boat. All right. This is a canoe or a boat. And here is you in that boat. All right. This is the ocean. Now, this boat is what? Sinking. All right. And this boat has already sunk up to, say, this is 30%. Now, your plan is by the time this boat sinks 50%, you want to jump out of the boat into the river and swim to safety. That is your plan. But what if the boat sinks 100% instantly? Would you still be able to execute your plan of jumping out by 50%? No. That describes high volatility. All right. So if for instance, you are predicting that the price of Bitcoin would go up, as in the case of the crypto bro that passed away, and let's say the price of Bitcoin as at when you entered the market was $100, and you are predicting that the price would go up, then you now put your stop loss at, say, $95. Say at $95, sell and take me out of the market. Do you know that for stop loss to be triggered, there is something called orders. There's something called open orders in trading. Open orders. All right. Open orders are when people say, okay, I want to buy so and so coin at so and so price. I want to sell so and so coin at so and so price. So when you set a stop loss, you are putting up what? A sell order. You are putting up a sell order. You are asking the exchange to sell for you if the price of this Bitcoin you are predicting will go up if it falls to 95. Now, for a sell order to be triggered, it has to match with a buy order. It has to meet a buy order. So if there's somebody who has left an instruction that they want to buy Bitcoin at $95, as in this scenario, and you have put up a sell order of $95, then it will be sold for you at that point. All right? So for your stop loss to trigger, there must be an existing buy order at that price to trigger it. Now, if this $100 price of Bitcoin were to fall rapidly to $1, that your sell order instruction, that your stop loss will not be triggered at $95 because it fell straight down. So if your stop loss is a stop market order, it means that it will be sold for you at the next available price. Now, a coin that fell from $100 and your stop loss is $95, but it never waited here. It went straight down to $1. It is at that $1 that your stop market stop loss will be triggered. Do you understand? What it means is that this market, if it falls to $95, sell at $95 at any available price after that. If it doesn't trigger at 95, okay. If it is 75 that you get to, let's go there. All right? Because a stop loss is like you are in a vehicle. You are going to a particular place. So when you get to that particular place, you say stop. If the speed of the driver is too high, they may not be able to stop at that particular place you ask them to stop. They will now move you forward a little before they now eventually come to a stop. Then you will now come down. All right? You will not say, I will not come down. You have passed where I say I should go, where I say you should go. You will come down eventually. All right? So that is high volatility. Volatility can be so much that there will be no opportunity for a sell order to be triggered at your particular stop loss place. All right? Now, let's talk about the second condition that causes slippage, which is low liquidity. Now, you recall that in my explanation of high volatility, I talked about the open orders. What happens on an exchange? An exchange is just an order book where people buy and people sell. All right? And people that are not buying at the current market price, they can do what? They can place an order. All right? Maybe they are anticipating a pump or a drop in the price. They will place an order. So an exchange is just an order book. An exchange is an order book. So we have buy orders. We have sell orders. All right. Now, the second condition for slippage that causes slippage is low liquidity, in the sense that if you are dealing in an exchange where there are not enough people buying and selling, the current price is $100. You put a stop loss at $93. What if there's nobody trying to buy that coin at $93? Then the exchange will be looking to sell to you at the next available price. Maybe the only buy order existing on that exchange as at that time is $87. That is the price at which your stop loss will be triggered. Because when you put a stop loss, the exchange is not the one to buy your coin and give you money and throw you out of the market. Somebody has to buy. So what happened in his own case is what we call slippage. All right. So slippage can totally nullify your stop loss. Okay. Now there are other factors, okay, that can also cause liquidation. All right. Other factors. Of course, we know what happened a few days ago with the Donald Trump was a fundamental factor. Okay. Now, when we talk about risk management in trading, we also talk about leverage. So let me quickly talk about leverage a little vis-a-vis how it affects liquidation and your trade safety. Okay. Now, let us talk about leverage real quick. All right. Leverage. Leverage is when you see some people trading 1x, 3x, 10x, 5x. So leverage is like a loan. All right? It's like a loan that the exchange gives to you. You bring money, then they magnify that money in form of a loan to allow you to trade in the market. So if what I have is $100 cash and I am trading 2x leverage, 2x, 2 times 100, when I'm trading, I'll be able to trade with $200 because the exchange gave me a loan of $100 to make my money to now become times 2. That's where the 2x comes into play. All right? Okay. Now, if I am trading with $100 and I'm using 20x leverage, that means that 20 times 100, that is $2,000. I'll be trading with $2,000. That means that the exchange gives me a loan of $1,900. Now, let's do a little bit of mathematics. The real money that I'm bringing on board is $100. $100 is just what? 5% of $2,000. Remember, 10% of $2,000 is $200. This is $100. $100 is just 5% of $2,000. That is the real money I am bringing. Then I'm using 20x leverage. What this means is that my liquidation price will be at 5%. That's going to be my liquidation. My liquidation will be set at 5%. You know, when you are trading, you will see your liquidation price. You will see they'll write it there. My liquidation price is going to be around 5% below my entry. 5% below my entry is where my liquidation price is going to be because that's the real money I have. The exchange are not stupid enough to allow you to go and waste the money that they gave to you as a loan. So they will take you out of that trade the moment your real money is finished in the market. So your liquidation is set at 5% if you are trading $100 on a 20x leverage. So we are talking about how the role that leverage plays in liquidation. You see, you just have 5% chance in the market. 5% below your entry, you're gone if you're using 20x leverage. All right? So since your liquidation in this particular case is at 5%, when you want to set your stop loss, you will set it at 4% below your entry because at 5% below your entry, you are out of that trade. So you set your stop loss at 4% below your entry. Now, if there is high volatility, like we talked about earlier, and market drop to 6% instantly, like a sudden crash, Your stop triggers at maybe minus 4%, but next available bid is at minus 6%. That is, at 6%, you are losing more than your margin can cover. Your margin can only cover 5%, remember. So if there's a sudden dip in the market, like a sudden crash, like the one that happened a few days ago, and the next available bid is at 6%, the exchange liquidates your position before or during the stop execution. Because the real money you have in that trade, you're trading $2,000 in the market, but your real money is $100. $1,900 is borrowed money from the exchange. So the amount of money that you can lose in that trade is $100. If they see that you're about to lose more than the money you brought in, that will dip into the loan you got, you are liquidated immediately. That is why they set your liquidation price at 5% of the margin that it appears that you are trading. So you see, in this kind of scenario, a stop loss would not be able to help you prevent liquidation from happening. You see, now let me create a more dangerous scenario for this $100 trader on an exchange. All right, let's create a more dangerous scenario, and you will see the safety allowance becomes slimmer. Now, imagine this $100 man trading with 100x leverage. What this means is that he goes into the market like he's trading $10,000. So he got a $9,900 loan from the exchange. $100 is just 1% of $10,000. $100 is just what? 1% of $10,000. That means his liquidation price is 1%. Is 1% below the margin he took into the market. His liquidation price is set at 1% below the margin he took into the market. So any firm he is liquidated. Any slight movement against him, he is already liquidated. In fact, in this kind of trade, where do you put your stop loss? You put it at 0.5. It will just pass. All right? So leverage is a double-edged sword. All right? It can make you a whole lot of money. All right? Even with small capital. But it can take you out of the market at the snap of a finger. All right? So how do you reduce this liquidation risk when you are trading? I mean, how do you reduce liquidation risk using stop loss is what we want to talk about now. All right, how to reduce the risk. All right. Now, number one, very important, pay attention. Use limit stops. Okay? Or you call it stop limit orders. Stop limit orders. Use those ones. Instead of plain stop market. Instead of plain stop market, use stop limit orders. Now, let me explain how limit stops work. I am longing BTC, and for instance, the price of BTC is at $100. Okay, I'm longing. BTC is selling for $100 right now. And if I put my limit stop at $95, what I'm saying is sell for me, but do not sell below $95. Sell for me. Sell for me. Do not sell below $95. If the current price of that particular coin is $100 and I put my limit stop at $95, it means that at 99, if there's a buy order, go ahead and sell. At 98, if there's a buy order, go ahead and sell. At 97, if there's a buy order, go ahead and sell. At 96, go ahead and sell. At 95, go ahead and sell. At 94, you no longer have my permission to sell. Leave it alone for me. You understand? That way, your risk of liquidation is reduced. All right? Now, let me tell you what a plain stop market is in this kind of scenario. Plain stop, that is the most popular one. This particular coin is selling for $100 and you put a plain stop market stop loss at $95. What a plain stop loss is saying is different from what a limit stop is saying. Now, in a plain stop market scenario, a coin is selling for $100 and you put your stop loss at $95. What you are saying is that once the price gets to $95, sell for me no matter the price. So if there is no buy order at 95, look for the next buy order. There's none at 94, on to the next one. There's none at 93 until even if it is at $1 that you see a buy order, sell for me. So the traditional stop loss that you use, that is the implication. Trading at $100, you put your stop loss at 98. It means once it gets to 98, look for any available buy order and sell. If it is not there, on to the next one, no matter the price. That's why you see a lot of times you put your stop loss at $95 and that token gets sold for you at maybe $40. It's not as if your stop loss failed. It's about the order book. Are there buyers there? Even if there are no buyers, low liquidity, it could be a massive dump in the price, high volatility. High volatility. Okay, you are in a vehicle. You are going. Let me differentiate between stop market and stop limit. Okay, I want to differentiate it in a relatable manner. Stop limit is somebody is working for you. Okay, the one that I say you people should use. Somebody is working for you, and you say that employee. You say resumption time is. You tell your employee resumption time is what? 8 a.m. 8 a.m. You should be at the office. You now tell them, but once it's 8:30 a.m., do not bother coming anymore. Stop limit tells you come to work by 8 a.m. But once it's 8:30 a.m., do not bother coming anymore. Now, let me give example of stop market. Stop market. Example that you will understand. This is a taxi. You are in a taxi. And where you are going to, your destination is point A. That's where you're going to. Then the next thing you say, stop. Maybe the brake failed. And the guy now took you to point C. Would you, because of that, and say you are no longer coming down? You still come down at point C and go back to where you're supposed to be. That is why a stop market, if they miss the stop loss, they will sell for you at the next available price, which may be way lower than the stop loss that you indicated. The stop loss that you indicated might be surpassed. You may get way below that amount of money for reasons like low liquidity, nobody to buy, or high volatility. High volatility is this vehicle speeding way past your junction. Before you even say stop, it has already passed. All right? So that is the difference between a limit, a stop limit, and a stop market. Those are two different types of stop losses. All right? So for you to limit this kind of scenario, it is better to use a stop limit and not just a stop market. All right, because a stop market may not be triggered as a result of maybe low liquidity or high volatility, and it will now go and sell for you at a price that is way below what you were expecting. All right. So another way to reduce risk that I want to talk about is avoid extreme leverage. I know you all want to make money, but come on, why are you trading 100x? People who want to use $1 to buy a Ferrari, they will go into a trade with 100x. They're looking at the advantages only. They are not thinking about the flip side. What could happen? You are liquidation. You are next door neighbors. You are Siamese twins, very close. The higher your leverage, the closer you are to liquidation. All right. So avoid extreme leverage, like I explained earlier in terms of percentages when it comes to leverage. Then another thing is you can do what? Trade during high liquidity periods. Okay. Trade during high liquidity periods. All right. This makes sense because if you want your stop loss to trigger, there must be a buy order to enable its trigger. So if you know the times when people trade a lot on your particular exchange, trade during those times. Don't go and be trading during weekend when people are busy clubbing and partying. Don't go and be trading at night when people are sleeping. Don't go and be trading on Sunday morning when people are busy praying. You set your stop loss for a coin trading at $100. You set your stop loss at $98 and you are trading on a Sunday. And you use a stop market stop loss. A stop market stop loss, which means once it gets to $98, look for any available price and sell for me. Don't be surprised that they may go and sell for you at $2. By the time people come from church, that is when you will now finally find a buyer. All right. So trade during periods of high liquidity. Okay. And of course, use exchanges. You use exchanges with deep order books. Use exchanges with deep order books. That's why you see the likes of Binance are very popular, because their order books are very deep. Don't go and be using exchanges that were created last week. Trading volume very low. How do you want your stop loss to trigger? All right. Now, if you want to learn more, join the community. Link in the description of this video. Join the WhatsApp and Telegram groups. I'll be able to recommend for you a crypto bot that has many of these features that we have talked about. And I also like to tell people that knowledge is power. All right. So if you're looking to learn digital skills, high income digital skills that can get you those remote jobs that you have always dreamt about, join the community and we'll hook you up. Until then, I remain Victor Esibo. Thank you for learning with me. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, it's bye-bye.